Rather lads, welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy, the inconsistent joke. We are back and we are live at 10 p.m. and we are talking Bournemouth. Early kickoff tomorrow. It's a Saturday. It's a hectic day. I really hate early kickoffs. They are absolutely tiring. But of course, we have nothing to do. Mikel Arteta has said that we've got to play every single game as it comes. Early kickoff, late kickoff, whichever way it comes, you've got to play. You've got to play the game. And obviously, it gives us a chance to play before Manchester City. It gives us another massive opportunity to mount another pile of pressure on Manchester City. This is the only advantage about this game being an early kickoff. Manchester City will have to win against Wolverhampton Wanderers later on in the day. And I think with Arsenal, if we beat Bournemouth, it will just kind of show Manchester City that Arsenal are not going to go away. So therefore, it's either they win all the remaining 4 games or they actually give us the trophy. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. I want your predictions. We're going to start with my prediction in this video, obviously. And then I will share with you my starting 11. Of course, the controversies will start from there. But I want your thoughts about who wins this game by what margin. I know many of you are going to say Arsenal are going to win this game, but it's not as easy and it's not as simple as it actually sounds. I think it's going to be not a 50-50. I don't think it's going to be 50-50. But it's a game where we're playing an informed Bournemouth, a team that is really full of confidence. The likes of Justin Kluivert, Dominic Solanke is one of the top scorers fighting for the Golden Boot this campaign. Difficult game. You're playing a team that has nothing to lose apart from, playing impressive football and entertaining their fans. That is not going to be actually easy. And we're also playing a Bournemouth side that, for me, in my opinion, is better than many of the teams we have played prior to playing them. I think they're better than Tottenham. They're maybe not defensively, but in terms of offensive, they're better than Tottenham. They're better than Chelsea. They're better than Crystal Palace. They're better than Sheffield. They're better than many of the teams that we have beaten in the second leg of the Premier League. So it's going to be an entertaining thriller. It's going to be a nervy game, and I want to see what you guys think about it. Now, let's start off with my prediction, right? Let's start off with my prediction. I think this is going to be close in terms of the score, but it will be quite entertaining in terms of chances. Now, Bournemouth do create their chances, and I won't be surprised to see Bournemouth having maybe 4 or 5 big chances in that game. And Arsenal do create their chances as well, so I won't be surprised to see ourselves create around, again, 6-7 big chances in that game. I will be surprised if Andoni Iraola goes compact to stop Arsenal, and I will be surprised as well if Mikel Arteta goes, maybe boring, respectful, sit in shape against Bournemouth, right? I think the shape we saw against Tottenham, that is over. We are back at the Emirates Stadium, and we are going to be in control. I expect us to have 60% ball possession and above, because it's our own ground. Although Andoni Iraola and his principles are about keeping the ball and making sure that you're in possession, the Spanish style of play, I think Arsenal are masters at that, and we should be much better than them, at that game. So big chances. An open game is what I'm predicting. And in terms of scoreline, someone has said 8-0. Did someone say 8-0 in this comment section below? I've not seen anyone say 8-0. I hope I've not seen that in my comment box below. Charlie says Arsenal 5, Bournemouth 0. God's Power says Arsenal 4, Bournemouth 1. Nara says Arsenal 4, Bournemouth 1. Peter says Arsenal 4, Peter says we will smash Bournemouth 4-0. Abu says Arsenal 2, Bournemouth 1. Stefan says Arsenal 3, 2 Bournemouth. Thanks, Cossy, for the broadcast as we start. Here we go. That's according to Nelson. Big up to Nelson in the chat. Charlie says greetings from didn't get to see that. SLSL. Didn't get to see that. Daniel says 3-1 in favor of Arsenal. Ahmed says City will lose all their remaining games left. Well, that would be interesting. And then Ahmed, actually it's Ahmed who says City will lose all their remaining games. Ahmed also says Arsenal will smash Bournemouth 8-0 or 12 to nil. So my prediction is going to be a humble scoreline, right? I think the scoreline will not reflect the quality of chances produced in this game. I think although Bournemouth are really, really good at creating those chances, and they do score goals by the way, because in their last fixture they have actually smashed Brighton 3-0. And you understand that Brighton and Bournemouth should be at the same level, so it should have been a closer game. But 3-0, that shows you the form in which Bournemouth are. But I'll stretch you back to the Manchester United game where it ended 2-2 in favor 2-2. And I thought Bournemouth had the better chances, they had more chances. And I'll tell you this, the chances Bournemouth scored were the less quality chances than the chances they missed. So I think they still have a finishing problem. Although Solanke has scored as many goals, including penalties, they will need to find a solution to the chances they are missing. So I'm going to go with Arsenal 3. Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 2. I'm going to call it that close because, listen, I know Arsenal do have total control of such games, and at times make these teams look very, very weak and very trashy, but Bournemouth are in form. They are really, really flying. Just to put this into perspective, Bournemouth have won each of their last 3 games in the Premier League, right? And their form, each of their last 2, not their last 3, and their form is just entertaining. You love to watch them play. You love to see them play. They are really comfortable in possession. They're comfortable out of possession. They're a well-coached side. The education at this football club is marvelous, beyond believable doubt, right? So I think they can score 2 in this game. They've got the ability to create their chances, right? In players like Kluivert, in players like Dominic Solanke, I don't think that is a bad Bournemouth side that cannot create problems for Arsenal. So I'm going to say that they score 2 in this game, right? Arsenal will score 3, and I think this game at some point in time will be a 3-1. I won't be surprised if Bournemouth go ahead and score first, because they really score that first goal. They really get early in the games, right? Even in the game they lost to Aston Villa 3-1, they went ahead to lead, right? So they start games on a high gear, they start games on a high note, and that's something Mikel Arteta has got to be very wary of. If you want to beat them, start early and start very, very quickly. So 3-2 is my prediction. I know this is annoying many people, but I don't want to sound ridiculous with these games. It's going to be different. It's Navi, it's title deciding, and the emotions on match day 36, I think, they're different from the emotions on match day 18 or match day 19, because in this game, Arsenal players are going to come with one thought: if we don't win, it's over, right? And I think Bournemouth will capitalize on that. Bournemouth will try to make it difficult for us to score an early goal, right? Because the more and the longer we take without scoring that early goal, the more nervous we become, the more difficult the game becomes, and the more susceptible we are to conceding that ridiculous goal, and then the game runs away from us. It's a typical example of what happened against Aston Villa. Arsenal created good chances in the first half, and we didn't take those chances in the first 20 minutes. After the first 20 minutes, Arsenal really became nervous. We got the good chances, and we didn't bury them, because the nerves were now getting onto the team, and everyone was starting to become a little bit disbelieving in themselves. And hence, in that game, you saw Trossard, who had actually scored a beauty against Bayern Munich, miss an almost similar, or if not an easier goal from a similar position against Aston Villa. Reason: the more the game runs on, the more it rolls on, without you scoring that early goal, you get more nervous, right? So this is one of the things that Mikel has got to work on. Can we get into the 70th minute at 0-0 or at 1-0 at Everton, at Bournemouth, at Manchester United, and still win that game, because it's going to be a very key quality and a very key component in this title race, in this title running. I still think we should have got a point against Aston Villa. I still think we should have beaten Aston Villa, even going a goal down, because that is the resilience that you need for you to win the title. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think there in the comment box below. But I'm going to go with a 3-2 prediction. Not a very extravagant one, right? But I think a game of big chances. Now, let's run through my starting 11, because I've noticed that many of you have actually been, I would say, disgusted is the word, by the starting 11 that I suggested in my first video today. And the reason as to why I went with that starting 11 is, I think this is a game where Arsenal are going to express themselves. I think this is a game where Arsenal are going to be looking to play on the front foot rather than a defensive, a defensive line or a defensive formation. So I said Tomiyasu gets out of the starting 11 and we play Alexander Zinchenko. And I also suggested Jorginho comes in for Thomas Partey. But also the reason why I suggested Jorginho comes in for Thomas Partey is this. I kind of think that Partey is going to be a key player for Arsenal against Man United at the Old Trafford. And you cannot be sure that Partey is going to be fit. So if the only way you're sure Partey is fit is when you don't play him, you close him in a freezer, and you lock him in his bedroom, and you tell his wife, don't touch him. You tell his kids, don't touch him. You tell his cook, don't feed him. You tell his cleaner, don't clean his room. That is the only way you can ensure Thomas Partey is fit. Otherwise, the guy can pick up an injury while walking around his compound, which I bet is not bigger than mine. So I think Partey for me should be out of this game completely, unless things go south, unless Jorginho has a stinker, then you can call upon him, right? But I don't think Jorginho would have a stinker. I still think Jorginho would have a good game against Bournemouth, and I'm going to explain as well the tactics there. So this is what we looked like against Tottenham Hotspur last time out when we played in the Premier League. That was like a week ago. Raya in goal, you can see there. I just make it bigger there for you guys. Raya in goal. Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, Tomiyasu, Declan Rice, Thomas Partey, Odegaard, Saka, Kai Havertz, and Leandro Trossard. Now, against Bournemouth, most of these players have actually rested. Actually, all of these players have rested very well. So I wouldn't make big changes against Bournemouth. I don't think we need to make big changes. I would only change Zinchenko coming in, and I would only change Jorginho coming in as well. So the reason that's why I play Jorginho in this game is quite easy. It's the same reason why I would play Jorginho against Tottenham Hotspur. Now, actually, the way we set up against Tottenham fancied Jorginho more than Thomas Partey. And I thought Partey had a very ridiculously very, very good game. But for me, that was not his game, honestly, guys. Yes, we love him. Yes, he's physical. Yes, his ball winning technique is over the top, and he's like gliding and glamorous in that midfield. But what was the role of our midfield against Tottenham? The role of our midfield was to sit in front of our backline, make it difficult for Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, make it difficult for Rodrigo Bentancur, and make it difficult for James Maddison, to make it difficult for them to carry that ball through our midfield, right? And what we ended up with was Spurs finding it very difficult to penetrate our midfield, and therefore, splashing the ball outwards on the flanks, which Arsenal are very comfortable. The likes of Ben White, the likes of Tomiyasu, they're always very comfortable against the likes of Dejan Kulusevski, against the likes of Son, against the likes of Werner, Johnson, and the fact that we always double up on wingers, Saka coming back to track back, and Trossard and Martinelli also coming back to track back. It meant that as long as Arsenal were not penetrated through the middle, Spurs had no chance of penetrating us even through the wide areas. So the other role of the midfield was to release runners. And you saw what Kai Havertz did on the second goal. That pass, that is a Jorginho pass. Like, Jorginho can make 10 passes against the high line in a game. And don't say because we have not seen him do that. We have seen him do that. Against Crystal Palace, we saw him do that for Gabriel Martinelli. Boom, go. Right? And we've seen him do that on many occasions. And we all know he's got that ability. And that is the reason why I think Jorginho and Zinchenko are perfect players in this game. It's why I think they're perfect. If Timber was 100%, I think he's 100% fit according to the manager. So I'm not going to say if he was 100% fit. But what I'm trying to say is if Timber had played maybe 2-3 games prior and he had the match fitness, right, and he had played enough to get him into the side, I think this would have been a Julian Timber game, because it's about utilizing spaces. It's going to be about enjoying the game. Bournemouth are a team that enjoy the game and at the expense of the other team enjoying the game. So if you come to sit back against Bournemouth, you will never beat them. Like literally, you don't have a chance to beat them if you're just going to sit in a low block, because they will cut you open. They will open you up. That's their football, and they are beautifully, going to play that every single time. Now with that manager they have at the helm. So for me, Zinchenko starts inverting into midfield alongside Jorginho, allowing Declan Rice to go further forward into the final third, and allowing, of course, Martin Odegaard to play a little bit high up the pitch in that number 10 that he loves very much, right? The expense, of course, and the cost is that they could catch us on the break. That is the expense. They could catch us on the break with Zinchenko and Jorginho in midfield. But I look at Arsenal's defensive structure and the way we love to set up when we lose the ball. Most of the time, it's a 4-4-2, right? With Odegaard and Kai Havertz, leading the press. I don't think they're going to play through us like they're playing through a Luton or a Brighton or an Everton side in midfield. We are more quality than that, and I want us to be brave. And I want Mikel Arteta to play a brave game. I want us to play a game that actually allows us to go there and cause them problems, because we've got that quality and we've got that ability as well. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Hit the like button. Make sure you let me know your thoughts in the comment box below. Kiza says my score prediction is 3-1 in favor of Arsenal. Big up to you, Maxim. Maxim says, Cossy, we need to be careful because Bournemouth is stubborn. They're not stubborn, they're in form. And I want you, there's a difference between a stubborn side and the team that is really doing very well and the team in form. Bournemouth are not stubborn. They are in form, and they're one of the most informed teams in the Premier League for the second leg of this campaign. Maxim says, we need to be careful. Bournemouth are stubborn. They can shock Arsenal, so let Zinchenko not start, but others, okay. Thank you, brother. Big up to you. I mean, I understand why everyone is skeptical with Alexander Zinchenko. Defensively, the guy is a joke. But I also want to remind you that Alexander Zinchenko was introduced by Mikel Arteta in the game we played against Bayern at half time. He took off Kivio and he brought on Alexander Zinchenko. And what you saw, what Arsenal got by that, or from that, is we controlled a midfield which was actually our problem. We controlled a midfield which had Goretzka, Lima, and Kimmich inverting as well. We controlled it and we got a point. I'm kind of really surprised as to why at the Allianz Arena we didn't try to go with the same approach. Obviously, not very surprised because the Allianz Arena is a different animal. You go there not to win. You go there to humbly get a result that Bayern will give you. But I still think Zinchenko, despite his weaknesses, despite the fact that he lets you down in some in some instances, I would play Alexander Zinchenko. I still think he's a quality player and he deserves the benefit of the doubt. Oliver says, Mr. Cossy, good evening. Thanks for this beautiful show and updates. My question, which side, left side or right back, did Timber feel good when he is playing? I was watching, what was I watching today that was talking about Julian Timber? I was watching a James B video, James B from AFTV, and he was making a deep dive analysis about Julian Timber and the future of Arsenal. You can go and watch that video. It's on his personal channel, James B. And he talks about Julian Timber inverting from right back into the midfield and inverting from left back into midfield. And that's the beauty of Julian Timber. He can be as versatile as you want him to be. He can play in for Thomas Partey, he can play in for Tomiyasu, he can play in that position where Ben White is. But I think he's more comfortable, it's a prediction, I think he's more comfortable playing at right back, moving into midfield, because that's where we have seen him for Ajax, and that's where we have seen him for the Netherlands national team. But when Mikel Arteta played him at left back, that actually didn't seem like a problem for him, right? Listen, he is a confident player and he is a really well-educated footballer. Picking up the ball, not a problem. Driving the ball, not a problem. Passing the ball, not a problem. You'll find that in most cases, players like that, they'll give you, the same quality across, across positions, because their strength doesn't lie in which position they play on the pitch. Their strength actually lies in the qualities they possess as players. Look at Jorginho. Again, I'll refresh Jorginho. That guy can play in number 8, and you're satisfied. And then when he plays in the number 6, especially when he plays in a game that you're dominating, you're satisfied as well. So I think Timber is comfortable wherever you put him, as long as you play a game that suits his abilities. That's in my opinion. Fury says Arsenal 4-1. Okay, Charles says Arsenal 2 and above. Jimmy Uchi says Arsenal 3-1. Mark says Arsenal 4, Bournemouth 2. Okay, Arsenal will get a comfortable win of 3 goals plus. Okay. Waisu says Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 0. Ernest says 2-1. Ishaka says Arsenal 4-1. Charlie says 5-0. God's Power says 4-1. Okay. Interesting predictions there. It's just that most of you are actually very very confident. Henry says 2-0. Okello says sure win for Arsenal 3-1. Dominic says I see a 4-0 win for Arsenal. We have learned from our mistakes. Just a moment. We have learned from our mistake, and we can't allow any other mistakes as well. Cole says hi Cossy, my prediction is 3-0 in favor of the Arsenal. So it looks like there is a lot of confidence in this Arsenal side, especially when it comes to the fans, but also the players as well, and the manager. The way they are playing their football, beautiful football, right? We are playing with a lot of confidence. We are scoring goals, and we are scoring different kind of goals, and that might be a big problem for clubs, right? That might be a big problem for clubs, because Arsenal will score against you when it comes to set pieces. We are leading in terms of number of goals scored in set pieces. We have scored 22, right? And you can imagine that we've scored more set piece from set pieces more times than Sean Dyche's Everton. Like that is practically, that should not happen. Arsenal should not be scoring more goals than Sean Dyche's Everton from set plays. Like how? Why? Like it shouldn't happen. Really, it shouldn't happen. But again, that's another problem that Arsenal pose to clubs. If you're Bournemouth, you'll be looking to stop Odegaard, you'll be looking to stop Kai Havertz, you'll be looking to stop all these other beautiful players on the pitch. And then boom, Gabriel Magalhaes will hit you on the header. And then boom, Saliba will hit you on the header. Gabriel Magalhaes this season has scored 4 goals. Saliba has scored 2, right? And Declan Rice has scored 6. But when you look at those players, most of their goals are coming from dead ball situations. They're coming from set plays. So Bournemouth have got to be very, 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 very careful. Then you think about Arsenal's counterattacks, especially when Raya throws that ball out. That's another big problem that Bournemouth have got to deal with, because they love to attack in numbers, they love to play a high line, just like Tottenham Hotspur. And that's one way we can expose them. So if Raya, who is very good by, at collecting crosses, the best goalkeeper in the Premier League at commanding his penalty area and picking up those balls across his penalty area. So if David Raya is going to start counter-attacks against Bournemouth, I don't know what they're going to do. Honestly, I am not too sure what they're going to do. So I'm really sure Arsenal will win this game. I think we've got enough to win this game. We've got enough quality, we've got enough, squad depth, we've got enough emotional intelligence, and we've got a reason to win this game. We've got a valid reason why we cannot lose this game. Listen, I think with Bournemouth, in terms of why they need to win, and I'm going to show you the Premier League table. In terms of why Bournemouth need to win this game, Bournemouth fans obviously want to continue the good vibes, the good season, and everything, and I understand. But I don't think that is a big reason for a club to come out and fight for it. So you look at your table there. In number 10 is Brighton. They have 35 games played, 48 points, right? They're a point behind West Ham, and they are how many points? I think that is 3 points behind Chelsea. So there is a dream that they could get to Europe, maybe the Conference League. I'm not really sure. How many points are they from the Conference League? Around 5 points, right? So they think if they win their remaining 3 games, which is not going to happen, of course, they could get to Europe. But I don't think Andoni Iraola and this group of players are under pressure to get to Europe. With the way they started their season, they are not just overachieving. For me, I'm going to say this. This is going to sound stupid. Bournemouth are the team of the season. Honestly, guys, honestly. Bournemouth are the team of the season, and Andoni Iraola is already the manager of the season. As long as they finish in the top 10, it's job done. Like completely job done. So they don't have a reason to really come and fight and push on. I don't think Bournemouth will go back into their dressing room heads down if they lost 3-1 or 3-0 to Arsenal. On the other side, right, I'm going to show you the table on the other side. I know you already know what the table looks like, but I'm going to show you the table still. So this is the table on the flip side. And like you can see, Arsenal on top, Man City have a game in hand. Arsenal the only team to have reached 80 points. The only team to have reached 80 points. So a chance to go to 83 points, a chance to go 4 points clear of Manchester City, a chance for us to establish a substantial lead, right? A chance for us to put pressure on Man City. But the real reason why Arsenal want to win this game is they have bottled it. That is the real reason why we must win this game. That is the real reason Arsenal cannot afford to mess around. We can't afford they have bottled it again. We can't afford that. I want us to go until the last day of the Premier League, and if we don't win it, we didn't win it. It's as simple as that. If we don't win it, we didn't win it. Man City, let them win all their games, right? Let them win all their games, and that will be okay. I will be absolutely fine with that. But I don't want Arsenal to fail to win any game. I don't want to hear that Arsenal failed, to win a game. It will be, it will be embarrassing. I won't even say hurting. It will be embarrassing. So we cannot afford to not win. Okay, Faustin says, hi, Cossy, my prediction is 3-0. Robert says 4-0. Emmanuel says 4-0. Anis says, good evening, Cossy. I would love to see Timber playing, not Zichenko. I would love to see Partey, not Gigino. Okay, Amos says 3-1. And Ellie says Bournemouth 1. Bournemouth 1-0. I hope that is a Bournemouth. I think that is a Bournemouth win. He's predicting Bournemouth 1-0. So we could say, we've got someone who has predicted a Bournemouth win, and it's a flip of a coin. Listen, right? It's a flip of a coin. Why? Anything can happen in these games. Listen, at the back end of the campaign, that is why I think that Arsenal have got to win each and every game that is remaining. Because at the back end of the campaign, anything can happen. Luton have just scored a beautiful goal here. I've been watching it. I think It's a beautiful goal. Lokonga, hangs it up there, and the control is, fast touch is beautiful, and it's 1-1, 1-1 with Everton. So, in my opinion, and I'm still saying about Bournemouth, they could win it. Like, they could win it 1-0. We remember last season, right? We remember last season, we lost to Nottingham Forest by 1-0. It was under the same circumstances. We lost to Brighton 3-0 under the same circumstances, right? So it is not written in the stars. It is not set in stone that Arsenal win this game 100%. No, not really, right? So there is a chance that Bournemouth come and upset us. There is a chance that they come, they get an early goal, they sit in shape very well, and Arsenal struggle to break them down. But I really struggle to see that happen, right? I really struggle to see why Andoni Iraola would move out of his way, out of his principles, just to stop Arsenal. I think for me, this is a game for them to, to test themselves against big opposition and their philosophy, to test their philosophy against a quality opposition, right? Because that is the same football they're going to be playing next season. So Iraola will want to know if we actually can beat Arsenal with our philosophy, or if we can, dominate Arsenal at the Emirates with our philosophy, then a few signings will actually, make the team much better. I don't see them, coming to make it difficult for Arsenal, unless there is a Manchester City fan in there, or a Tottenham Hotspur fan, or a Manchester United fan in the Bournemouth team. I think it's going to be an open game. 1-0, no. 2-0, no, right? I think the smallest scoreline we might see tomorrow is going to be a 2-1. That is the smallest scoreline I'm predicting. It's a 2-1. I don't expect that, the scoreline to go anywhere below that. Robert says, I pray that as long as Partey is fit, let him play and Zinchenko can come in as a sub to control the game when we are already in the lead. Yeah, that could work as well. I mean, it's not a bad proposition, right? It's not a bad proposition. What you want is the best result. So whatever gives us the best result is what we want to go with, right? Most of you would rather play it safe. And at this point in the season, I'm with all of you. Instead of my manager going crazy out there and playing a crazy footballing style, I would rather him come into this game in a more respectable way to Bournemouth, but also in a more organized way, honestly. Because like I said on the title, it is the title decider, guys. It's a title decider. Oh, this, in my notes when I was preparing for this preview, I wrote this. I said that Man City could lose the title in the next 2 weeks. So if they don't beat Wolverhampton Wanderers, they should be able to beat Wolves, right? But if we beat Bournemouth, we've got 4 points clear, and they don't beat Wolves, let's say Wolves win that game miraculously, right? Miraculously, by 1-0. Miraculously, by 1-0. And then they go to Fulham, and they don't win again. Maybe Fulham win that game miraculously, 3-2, right? The title is basically over for Man City, right? The title is over for Man City. And I would love, there is nothing more, I would love than Arsenal winning the trophy at the Old Trafford. That would be the icing on the cake for me. That would be the reward for all the patience, the resilience, the pain we have gone through for the last 20 years. I would love Arsenal to win the trophy by beating Manchester United at the Old Trafford. I would love Arsenal to go into the Old Trafford game with an assurance that if we win that game, our chance of winning the title stands at more than 80%. I would love that. I would really, really love that, right? I know for the people who love football and the people who are into football for entertainment, they want the trophy, they want the title to go down to the last day, where Arsenal will be nervous against Everton. Everton will sit in shape against Arsenal, the Sean Dyche way, sit in shape, make it difficult for them, all that kind of crap. and then Man City are playing West Ham, and West Ham are playing for Europe. All that kind of interesting things, right? All those kind of interesting things. But for me, I would love us to go to the Old Trafford and win the title there. Now, the possibility of that happening, are very, very small. Honestly, very small. Because I think Man City will beat Wolves, they might beat Fulham, and the possibility of them dropping points is at Tottenham, right? And by that time, we will have already played Manchester United. But either way, listen, a title is a title. As long as we win it, I don't care where we win it, but I'll prefer for us to win it at the at the Old Trafford. So my point is, we go into these games knowing that if we win, before Manchester City score their next goal, it is in our favor. And that is the beautiful thing about the Premier League, the title race this season. If we win our game, before Manchester City score, listen, every 0-0 for Man City is a nervous moment because they know that puts them a point behind Arsenal. A point behind Arsenal. So if we win, we have to go into the Wolves game praying and thinking that Man City don't score against Wolves. It's a difficult job. It's a difficult job to stop Manchester City from scoring. It's a difficult job to stop Manchester City from scoring more than one goal, right? And it's a very difficult job. It's even a harder job to score against Man City. But you never know what's going to happen, right? Titles are titles, luck is luck, and title run-ins are title run-ins. Look at Liverpool and how they capitulated. They led the Premier League 70 days. Everyone saying the Jurgen Klopp, end of era Premier League title is coming. What, blah, blah. They didn't win against Man United. They didn't win against Crystal Palace. They didn't win against Everton. And title race is over. So if Manchester City, the immovable object, like Simon Jordan calls them, if they go and fail to beat any of the clubs they're playing, and Arsenal go on to beat all the clubs they're playing, I'm going to say, I'm sorry, it will be an Arsenal advantage, right? So let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens tomorrow. I still think Arsenal have an upper hand in this game, bigger advantage, better. If we play braver, if we play on the front foot right from minute one, if we go out there to create chances and enjoy the game, I think we beat them. I've seen them play Man United. They let in chances, right? I've seen them play. I've seen them play Wolves, right? They were lucky to win that game against Wolves. Lucky to win that game against Wolves because I think Wolves scored twice. Yeah, they scored twice, and both goals were ruled out for offside. So Wolves could have won that game on any other day. Right, so I still believe in Arsenal. I still think that we are the real deal. Okay, Oliver says, Mr. Cossy, is it true that Arsenal are willing to sign Fadi Kadioglu? Hence, I've seen the store trending indicating that the guy is well committed to joining Arsenal. Well, I've seen the Fadi Kadioglu transfer rumor. It has been linked by transfers.com, but transfers.com, I'm sorry to say this on live. They are not the most reliable source out there when it comes to transfers. They are good. They will give you timely updates, right? And they will not talk about a player who is 0% linked with Arsenal. So there might be something there, but it is far away from Fadi Kadioglu agreeing to join Arsenal. It's far away from Fadi Kadioglu being committed to this Arsenal project. It's far away. I think it's a deal that could be done in July even, right? It's a deal that could be done even after the Euros. And then you've got to remember that we know Mikel Arteta and Pep Guardiola these days, they love to sign centre-backs. They love to sign centre-backs who can play as fullbacks. Tomiyasu, Ben White, Julien Timber, Kivio. Those are 4 centre-backs that have been brought in at Arsenal and they have been turned into fullbacks, right? So there is no evidence out there that Mikel Arteta is going to sign a fullback. There's no evidence out there that he's going to sign a left back or a right back. I mean, we've been linked with Jeremy Frimpong. The links are there. We've been linked with Kadioglu. The links are there. We've been linked with Ainori at Wolverhampton Wanderers, the links are there, right? But then we have also been linked with William Pacho, a centre-back at, entering Frankfurt. We have been linked with Osman Diamonde, at Sporting Lisbon. And then we've been linked with a couple of other players as well. So I wouldn't 100% say Fadika Dioglu is coming to Arsenal. He's, committed. But I think the interest is there because it was there since January. We talked about him in the January transfer window as one of the players that Mikel Arteta, maybe fancied. So I won't be surprised if eventually that, develops into something later on. Patrick says there is no room for experiments. Jorginho is fine, but you don't think Zinchenko, but I don't think Zinchenko, no, right? No option for Alexander Zinchenko. Okay, I mean, like I said, Zinchenko wouldn't be an experiment. He has played for Arsenal. We know how he plays. We know his style. And, he's not a bad player, honestly. He's not a bad player. Moses says Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 0. Aaron says Arsenal must win all our 3 games as we wait for Manchester City to lose or draw. My prediction will be a 3-1 in favor of Arsenal. I don't know why many of us have predicted like a 3-1. I mean, I hope the team doesn't disappoint, but a 3-1 would look good, really, really good. But listen, I would also want Arsenal to score more goals in this game. I would love Arsenal to score about 4 if we can in this game. And the reason why I want Arsenal to score more goals in this game is this Manchester City machine. The goal difference between us and City is very close. So I'll share my screen again. So you look at that goal difference. Arsenal 57, Man City 50. Man City have played a game less than Arsenal. My fear is that City can pump Wolves 4-0. That leaves us with a 3-goal goal difference advantage. And then they can pump Fulham 3-0. And our goal difference is shattered. Then they still have to play West Ham, who they can beat 4-0. Right? And the Tottenham side, by the way, this Tottenham side, if they can lose 2-0 to Chelsea, Tottenham can lose like 3-0 or 4-1 to Man City. So if we can score the goals, if we have the chance to score the goals, let's go out there and let us score the goals. I mean, right? So a 3-1 is okay, a 4-1 is okay, even a 5-0 is okay. If this Bournemouth side open up and they leave themselves vulnerable and they don't close well at the back and Arsenal get the chances, and I know we'll get the chances, score 4, score 5. Get that good goal difference, because although I highly doubt that a goal difference will be deciding who wins the title, I still think it's important in terms of confidence, right? When we had a healthier goal difference, you saw how this team was playing. We were not even on top of the table. We were third when we had 10 goals above Liverpool and around 13 goals above Manchester City. We were third on the Premier League table, and boy oh boy, we were playing good football. We were remarkable. It's that confidence when it's just a matter of games for you to go on top of the table and you have a much better goal difference as compared to to your opponents, right? So 3-1, not a bad result. I've predicted a 3-2. I think it will be close in terms of goals, but it might be more comfortable on the pitch as compared to what we'll see in the scoreline. Okay, make sure you're hitting the like button. Thank you so much for joining me right in the comment box below. Uber says, Cossy, I predict 3-0 Bournemouth. That is my prediction. Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 0. Big up to you, Uber, in the comment box below. I love that. I really, really love that. Cossy, do you think Pookie from Norwich City, do you know from Pookie, do you know Pookie from Norwich City? We can have a good number 9. I don't think he can be expensive. I'm speechless. I'm really, really speechless. I don't know what to say about this comment. Timo Pukki at Norwich. Now, I want to say this, right? I want to say this. Just give me a moment. Because it could be that you're thinking about Pookie because he is smashing goals in the championship. I'm not even sure when I last followed him, right? He's no longer even in the championship. He's no longer at Norwich City. He's actually in the Major League Soccer. He's gone into the Major League Soccer. You know, Pookie was one of those championship strikers, like championship strikers. For me, he wasn't a Premier League striker. He wasn't a Premier League level striker. He scored 11 goals for Norwich on both occasions when they were in the Premier League. But come on, at 34 years of age, Timo Pukki is not the guy you would go for. Like, signing Timo Pukki would be the same as like keeping Eddie Nketiah for me. Timo Pukki he's not a Premier League striker. No, he's not even. I wouldn't recommend Timo Pukki for Brighton. I wouldn't see West Ham sign Timo Pukki. I'm sorry. I mean, opinions are opinions. I don't think that's right. I don't think Arsenal would be okay or better off signing Timo Pukki in any way, shape, or form. I don't think that's a deal we should do. I don't think that's a deal Arsenal should do. I don't think we should get close to such a deal. The only player that I would sign from the championship, and again, he's getting older. I think in terms of those classical iconic strikers would be Jamie Vardy. And I don't think Jamie Vardy has had a sensational season with Leicester City. I would really love Jamie Vardy. He is a ruthless number 9. But I think his best years as well are behind him. But Timo Pukki, come on, of all names we could sign, and you said Timo Pukki, honest, really, come on. You know, Pukki is not the guy. Trust me, he is not the guy. He's not the guy. He's not the guy. Hit the like button, please. Thank you so much. Emeka says, Cossy, I predict 3-0 Bournemouth. That's my prediction. Kenneth says Arsenal 4, Bournemouth 1. Patrick says 5-1 in favor of Arsenal. Chua says Arsenal 2-0. That's Hussein. And then Robert says Timo Pukki is not well packaged like a 9. We need a pacey, clinical ball player and versatile player who is not lucky. Therefore, not Pukki. Like, I don't know, but Pukki is not my guy. Okay. Alicia says, hey Cossy, good evening. Good evening to you, Alicia. Hope you're doing well. Pukki is not the guy for me. And at some point in time, maybe he was a good monster. Maybe he was, a monstrous striker. But at this point in time, Timo Pukki, he's not your guy. Honestly, he's not your guy, right? He's not your guy. Like, we've seen championship strikers come and do the job, and then, some of them have been elevated to, a bigger status. Dominic Solanke is doing the job at Bournemouth. If you told me Solanke, would have a debate. Watkins came from the championship from Brentford and then signed for Aston Villa, and he's cracking the goals. So if you told me Watkins, we could talk. And then the striker at Brentford, both of them actually, Brian Mbeumo, who I think relies more on the energy of Ivan Toney. So if you tell me Toney, we can have a conversation. Brian Mbeumo, we can have a conversation. Even Johan Wissa, we can have a conversation. But Timo Pukki, honestly, I mean, I would rather sign Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I would rather sign Beto. I would rather sign who? I don't know. I would rather sign, I don't know. Pukki is not my guy. Honestly, he's not your guy. Alicia says Arsenal 3-0. 3 Bournemouth 0. Ambrose says Arsenal will win by 5-0. 5-0. I love the score predictions, right? I love the score predictions. But I'm sorry, I'm going to have to say this. Your score predictions, most of you, they don't reflect the quality we see in this Bournemouth side, right? And it is very typical of Arsenal fans. We have this problem, we have this weakness. We don't care about what other teams do. We don't care about what other teams deliver or how they are performing. As long as our team is performing well, as long as we are the team, on top, we just go on to say 5-1, 6-0. But if you put these predictions into perspective, Bournemouth, they're also a good side. Frederick says 3-1 in favor of Arsenal. Big up to Frederick in the comment box below. Now, tomorrow, City play at 5 p.m. That will be the next, but immediately after Arsenal completing, we shall have a break of 30 minutes, and then we'll get into the Manchester City game. So what we are going to do tomorrow, I'll have a watch along for the Bournemouth game, a watch along for the Man United game, and a watch along for the Everton game. I'll also do a watch along for Manchester City games until they draw points. Right? So that's the package you're having tomorrow. I'll be live for the Manchester City game. I'll be live for the Arsenal game. I'll be live for the Arsenal match reaction as well. Lots of content coming your way. I'm going to take my rest right now so that I can kind of gear up for tomorrow. Thank you so much. Akol says, Cossy, talk about Pedrinho if Arsenal signed him. Isn't it too early? Isn't it too early for us to dive into these some of these unfamiliar names, right? I kind of feel like it's too early. Obviously, I think it's going to be midfield and up front for us in the summer. Those are the priority areas, midfield and up front. And I won't be surprised if we spent over like 150 million from midfield upwards. Right? So let's see what direction Arsenal want to go. At the moment, we have been talking about Rashford, Olise, Pedro Neto. Those are the names we are talking about. So you never know. Oliver says, let Arsenal keep winning situation. Let Arsenal keep winning the win-win situation. And everything is possible at the side of Manchester City. Big up to you, Oliver. Robert says, Arsenal is now ruthless. We don't care how good... just a moment. We don't care how good Bournemouth is, we shall humble them. Well, if that were true, right? If that were true, we wouldn't be caring about the Aston Villa result. I mean, we've got to be realistic and we've got to be fans. Us being fans is us saying Arsenal must win this game. It's a title decider, and it's important. Us being realistic is recognizing how good other teams are and recognizing the damage they can do. Aston Villa, for me, they're not at the level of an Arsenal. They're not even at the level of a Liverpool this season. But they took 6 points, maximum points from us, 3 goals, and we didn't score any goals, right? And this is an Aston Villa side that beat Arsenal and stopped us from a run of, I think, 11 games. Unbeaten, no draws. I think 1 draw. That was against City, right? So we've got to be open to all these possibilities. We can win games, but we can lose games as well. We can draw games as well. And although Arsenal are good, like many people get to say, other teams get to do tactics as well, and other teams get to prepare, right? So it's not only Arsenal preparing. It's a couple of it's a couple of other teams preparing as well. Other teams prepare too. And other teams come, well prepared. Okay, let's see. Mohamed says, straight win for my darling club, Arsenal. Frederick 3-1 says 3-1 for Arsenal. We've done the Alicia one. Ambra says, Cossy, based on your game approach of Bournemouth, maybe my prediction could be 4-2 in favor of Arsenal. Yeah, based on my game approach, open, attack, brave, 4-2, 4-1. That could happen. Alicia says, Cossy, what I know with the Arsenal team this season is that we have a different mentality. Patrick says, Arsenal learned from Bournemouth last season. No joke at this time. The team is different. Like, I'm not going to sit here and act dumb. I'm not going to sit here and say we are not different, right? We are different. We are mentality monsters. We are strong, we are resilient, and we play even much better football, and we are much more comfortable under pressure. It is interesting how a team that capitulated last season in the second half of the campaign has lost 1 game since January and has drawn, I think, 1 game since January. interesting, like, beautiful. Beaten Chelsea, beaten Tottenham, beaten Liverpool, walloped West Ham, walloped Crystal Palace, walloped Sheffield. The mentality is different. We have eased past Brighton. The mentality is different, right? Very, very different. And I agree. But then I also have a problem, guys. And the problem is that every game has its own challenges. And that's a theory that Mikel Arteta loves very much. If you follow my press conference reactions, if you follow me and Mikel Arteta, press conference reactions as well, you know that Mikel and I are big, big fans of every game poses its own threat. Every game, brings its own challenges. Against Manchester United at the Old Trafford, there will be a mental and psychological block that Arsenal don't win at the Old Trafford. That's a different, problem as compared to Bournemouth. Bournemouth have not won a single game, in their last 3 or 4 visits at the Emirates Stadium, and that is, a very different statistic that changes the dynamics of both games. So this game, Arsenal come confident that we are playing an opponent who is not confident at our own ground. The next game, we will be short of confidence of winning against Man United, and we will need to dig deeper. So, learning from our mistakes, brilliant. We've done that. Different and maturity, we've done that. And Mikel Arteta has talked about it as well in his press conference today, that this team is different. They've learned from their mistakes and they are willing to fight and go again. But every game brings its own challenges, right? We have not played a very good side like Bournemouth ever since we played Man City. For me, this Bournemouth side have performed better than Bayern. They have performed better than Man United. They have performed better than Tottenham. They have performed better than Chelsea, right? So it's a different game. It's a different team, different dynamics. Don't talk to me about Nottingham Forest last year. Don't talk to me about Bournemouth last year. It's different. They were under the manager at Wolves. I think that is O'Neill, right? That was their manager. This is a different manager, and this is a very different Bournemouth. Very different. Just to put this for you in perspective, Bournemouth have scored 52 goals this campaign. 52 goals this campaign. And they have conceded 60. So those two statistics tell you much about Bournemouth, right? They concede, but they score a lot. But this is a team that has scored 4 goals less of West Ham. They have scored the same number of goals as Manchester United. There you have it, right? There you have it. That is the team we are playing. They've scored more goals than Wolves, same goals as Brighton. So it's a different game, different dynamics, different requirements. Everything's gonna be different. We've got to accept that. Ellie says, good night, Cossy. We love you for your updates. Thank you so much. Good night too. Mike says, this is a sure win no matter what. I'm not trying to deflate the energy. Patrick says, Arsenal learned from Bournemouth, and this time we will not joke. So guys, we'll meet tomorrow. Obviously, we have a lot to, catch up. Mike says this is a sure win, and we will not give up. We will not actually, capitulate. So let's see what happens. Like I said, we'll have I think we'll have an early upload tomorrow. I'll do a transfer update tomorrow at 10 a.m. right? It will be coming your way at 10 a.m. because we'll be having a live stream for the game. So 10 a.m. wake up, watch that transfer update, and then we shall get into the game and see what happens. For now.